Each week, I'll be bringing you solo episodes and real conversations with women who are breaking the mold, covering strength training, nutrition, body image, mindset, and all things we were never taught but desperately need to know. There is no summer body BS here. No crash diets, no toxic diet culture, just real talk, real science, and real strategies to help you build the body and life you feel damn good in. So go ahead, hit follow, tune in, and stay a while. I'll be right here with you as we figure this out together. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to ensure you never miss an episode. Because here at Broads, we're not just getting stronger, we're rewriting the rules, and we're doing it boldly. First and foremost, I want to start this off with, I am not shaming anyone that wants to change their body or wants to look a certain way or wanting to feel a certain way in their skin. I am just here today to break the cycle that keeps most women stuck on this unsustainable loop every spring or summer, where you're just trying to fit into that dress or to that bikini body or to those shorts or lose the weight for a very specific event. Because chasing a summer body comes every year if you're always chasing it. And I am here to help you get out of that loop. I have done this in the past. We had a vacation. I remember growing up, we went to Mexico together as a family. I think I was 17 or 18. Puerto Penasco, if anyone knows where that is, you can actually drive there from Arizona. We had a place in the Phoenix area in the summer. We went there on the summer. Why? I don't know. Anyways, we drove there from Phoenix, and I was going with my boyfriend at the time. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like I have to look a certain way as soon as I get into the swimsuit. Then I can vividly remember, I have a picture of me and my girlfriends at the lake when I'm like 15 or 16 years old. And I remember hating the way I looked in that bikini and thought to myself, I'm never going to let this happen again. And I always felt like I was chasing that specific look in a bikini. It made me feel so much worse about myself. Every single time summer came around, and summer, I'm a summer baby. I love summer so much. But I felt like as, late teens, early 20s, I was constantly in this loop of trying to chase something and someone that I was not. And it took a long time to get there, but I realized that that is a complete waste of time. You get such a limited time on this earth, and to spend any amount of time wasting it based on the way you physically look in a bikini is crazy. Like when you really truly think about it, it's wild. And again, I'm not shaming anyone that has these body aesthetic goals. I'm really truly not. I just feel like there's so many other things that we can focus on to feel more comfortable and have a sustainable, not only summer, but livelihood, like all year round, have the body that feels the best in your skin. And it doesn't matter if there's an event coming up or summers down the line, you still feel good about yourself and your body. And if we think about the term, like if it was defining the term summer body or bikini body mentality, it's truly the pressure to tone, shrink, or transform your body in a short amount of time for external validation. Typically, of course, again, not shaming anyone that wants to change their body. But typically, for me, at least, I saw myself in photos. I said, do not post those anywhere. We only had Facebook at that point. So, I have a lot of folders in Facebook. If anyone's a millennial and has all these random photo albums on Facebook, why? Why do we have those? I can't actually log into my Facebook to delete them, but those are all still out there. It's typically driven by insecurity and not by health. So today, I would love to chat with you about summer body. And we're going to have different segments of how I go through this today, but we are in the prime time of getting your body, quote unquote, bikini body ready, getting your body to, be in the smallest bikini or just feel a certain way when you see yourself in a photo. And so, what it looks like in real life is first and foremost, like I remember seeing these Pinterest, because again, didn't have Instagram or TikTok at the time when I was in my late 20s or early 20s, late teens. And I remember like looking at Pinterest at all these like restrictive diets or fitness programs that I had to get on in April or May because I only had, 30 or 60 days before summer started. And it was equating weight loss with happiness and validation and just like readiness. Like, oh, I'm ready to be out in this bikini or out on the beach or in front of people. And then it's also associating with movement with punishment. Now, I don't see this a ton anymore, although I know it is still out there. It's just not on my For You page. The constant, if you need to lose this amount of weight, you have to eat this many calories. Or if you, eat a Snickers bar, you have to do 30 burpees, like that kind of bullshit. It was always punishment. I need to burn off last weekend's food. I remember early fitness classes saying, earn your pancakes or earn your beer, or like, you've got to burn off what you ate last night. Like, no. And really, it truly is prioritizing aesthetics over function and just your overall well-being. And the deeper cost with this is that we are reinforcing body dysmorphia and body image issues and self-worth tied to an appearance. Man, there's so many times I can think of where if I saw myself in a photo, even if I was feeling really good about myself and I saw myself in a photo, I would immediately feel bad about myself because I didn't look the way I thought I was going to look, or because my physical body wasn't supposed to, quote, be in that bikini, or someone else in the photo looked better than me. There were so many times where I felt like my worth was tied to what was on that photo in front of me. Also, deeper costs associated with losing weight fast is it can cause hormone disruption, especially cortisol and leptin. And this often leads to binge eating, restricting cycles, and typically a resentment towards fitness. I was on several very restrictive diets. I can recall there was one time I tried the lemonade diet. I don't know if anyone remembers this. I lasted about 6 hours because I was like, what am I doing here? And then went to the Cheesecake Factory and binge ate. So yeah, and then I got into running and I would say, okay, I'm going to run off all the calories I just ate. And I hated it. I hated running. And I think that's why to this day, I still am like, I don't want to go for a run because it means I'm bad, or it means like I have to punish myself for it. I also don't really love running, but anyways, that's kind of what it associates with, is that you have this like resentment towards that thing. And then the science-backed context behind this is your cortisol is your stress hormone. And it can, shift a lot throughout the day, and also your hormone level. And just a lot of things come into play with cortisol. But if you are overtraining and underfueling, this increases your fat storage, and it can be increased, especially around the belly, when your cortisol level is spiked. So we have to make sure that we're maintaining that. And a way to not do that is constantly binging, restricting calories, underfueling, overtraining. So I want you to take this into consideration. Ask yourself this right now. Would I still want to do the thing I'm about to do, April, May, 30-day detox, whatever, for this summer body, if it wasn't summer, if it wasn't a specific event? And if it is not rooted in long-term care, it's likely unsustainable. So if you're about to go down this route of, getting ready for a vacation or a certain summer activity, would you do the same thing that you're doing now if it wasn't for that? Would you do it in October, November, December? And of course, our goals can change over time. It is okay to have that. I just want you to think of a very sustainable long-term approach, because if you know me or follow this podcast any little bit, you know this is all about long-term change. This is, quite frankly, a marathon and not a sprint, even though, we don't like running over here. I don't like running. You can like running. And I want you to really think about this. Real results take real time. So if you were to go down this cycle where you hit 30 days or you hit this specific goal, what happens next? And ask yourself that. Is this also something that you can continue after you hit that date, or you go to that summer plan, or whatever that thing happens? Is this thing that you're doing something that you can sustain? And if it's not, well, then you need something that is going to have slower progress. And your body will change through adaptation. This means consistency over time, not intensity for a few weeks. I'm honestly a prime example of this. I am a trainer and I have been working out for a long time and I do have a lot of muscle, but I can work out a lot less now because of the foundation that I've built and because the intention behind my training and because I have a lot more muscle and muscle will burn more calories at rest. So if this is something that you know you want to do forever and you know that this is going to be like a slow, sustainable progress, then we have to make it doable forever. And truly, I know I've been doing this for a long time, but research has shown that habits maintained for at least 12 months, but up to 18 to 24 months, are far more predictive of long-term success than any 30-day challenge you'll ever do. And this is why even working with clients, we usually at least work with clients for 3 months, but I will tell them upfront, I would love to work with you for at least a year because that way you can actually see long-term sustainable habits. 3 months is great as a starting point, but it is not going to take you further and further. So just keep that in mind. And what does slow progress looks like? Well, it doesn't look like losing 10 pounds in 10 days. It looks like gaining strength and muscle over months, not weeks. It looks like fat loss that does not ever require a rebound weight gain. You feel more energized, you feel clear-headed, and you feel resilient. And understanding your cycle, sleep, and stress patterns to support long-term changes. So just a couple tips. If you're like, okay, I hear this, I hear you, maybe I won't choose this 30-day ad in front of me that's going to say, get your summer body ready right now. So what should I do? 3 non-negotiables that you can anchor into year round. Walking every day. If you follow me on Instagram, Perry LaFerrera, I'm sure you've seen me around. Maybe, I don't know. I think you follow me. At this point, Broads.podcast is the Instagram, but my own, Tara LaFerrera, you should definitely follow. But I talk about walking daily and I talk about habit stacking a lot. Habit stacking is something that you're already doing and stacking on top of it. So for example, if you want to walk every day and you have a cup of coffee every morning, when you brew your coffee, go for a 5-minute walk. Before you drink water, go for a 5-minute walk. After you brush your teeth, go for a 5-minute walk. It doesn't matter where you can add it in, but add it to something that you're already doing. Everyone hopefully brushes their teeth. Everyone wakes up in the morning. Until you don't, but everyone wakes up in the morning. So add it to something that you're already doing. Maybe you don't drink coffee, tea, whatever it may be. Go for a walk. Number 2, lift 3 times a week. I cannot say this. I cannot recommend it enough. If you are like, wow, 3 times a week, I'm not even doing any right now. Start with 1. In 30 days, add another. In 30 days, add another. Even some clients will be like, no, it's been 30 days. I feel ready to add 2 more. I would say, no, I'd rather you up your step count and focus on water, sleep, and lifestyle before we add more. Because it is so easy to get off track without that solid foundation. So number 2. Number 3, protein with every meal. If you are looking at your plate, where is the protein on your plate? Every single meal should have it. Then I think about tracking qualitative wins. So again, the same things here: better sleep, improved recovery, better relationship with food, better relationship with yourself. Stop being an asshole to yourself. And then you can set process-based goals. So for example, eating at home, you know what you're getting. Eating out is a little bit harder. It's a little bit more expensive, maybe for some people, I guess. And you don't even know exactly what they're putting in the food. So how about something like, I will cook 4 dinners this week, not I'll drop 10 pounds this month. So then we go into what people think they need to do to lose weight fast. And anytime you hear the word fast, like I'll get this to you fast. You will get, especially when it comes to health and wellness, you will drop 10 pounds fast. You will gain 10 pounds of muscle fast. Like run away because it backfires. And here are the things that backfire on you. First of all, you starve yourself and you drop your leptin, which is your fullness hormone, increases cortisol, and it slows your metabolic rate. Then this also leads to overeating as your body tries to recover, which is that binge eating that I'm sure some of you can relate to that. This is also doing only cardio. I think people run into this a lot when they think they need to lose weight fast. They do only cardio. This can cause muscle loss, especially if you're in a calorie deficit, and it doesn't stimulate long-term metabolic improvements. Obsessing over the scale. We have a full podcast episode about how the scale is lying to you and how to look at other data points that actually will further you along. But this can also trigger emotionally. Remember that self-worth comments about how I looked in that photo? I had a client recently say she went to the doctor and she was feeling really good before she went in there. And then she jumped on the scale, and she knows now that you don't have to ask for the weight on the scale, but they told her the weight on the scale. And she felt like shit afterwards. And she was like, I felt really good going in. And then I saw the number and was mad because I thought I was at this weight and I weigh more. But then I said, well, how did you feel beforehand? And she said, I'm strong. I feel good. My pants fit well. And I said, well, then what actually matters here? Would you feel strong? Would you feel good about yourself if you did this lose bikini body or lose summer body fast after 6 months? Do you think that you can handle sustainably doing this thing for 6 months? And would you feel strong? And if not, it's probably not sustainable or smart. So now I'm going to give you what actually works. And if you're listening to me and this is the first time you're hearing me ever, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. And make sure you listen, go binge 10 episodes right now, because I talk a lot about this. And if you have been a follower or have been a listener for quite some time, again, thank you so much for being here and listening again. Because sometimes I've actually read that someone needs to see you or hear you for 7 hours for them to actually get it in their head. So that is why you'll always hear me talk about the same things over and over again, because strength training leads to building lean muscle, increased metabolism, and changes your shape and not just your weight. Prioritizing protein helps maintain muscle while in a deficit, balances blood sugar, and reduces cravings. Sleep is when recovery, hormone regulation, and fat burning magic happen, and stress management helps reduce cortisol and inflammation. So again, you're going to hear the same things over and over again, but sometimes you need to really hear it a million times for you to be like, that clicked this time. Strength training. Why does this work? Muscle is a metabolically active tissue. The more muscles you have, the more calories you burn at rest. So if we're thinking just weight loss aesthetically, you are going to burn more calories at rest when you have more muscle. But then you want to think about, like, aesthetically, what does that look like? Building muscle tends to then decreasing fats, which tends to get you into that toned look that a lot of people want. And so recovery is also just as important as training. Obviously, we have the strength training, but sleep and prioritizing protein, stress management, recovery is just as important there. And chronic stress, I mean, that is one thing that I have to work on myself and with clients all the time. If we are constantly stressed, you will feel inflamed and bloated. And even if your workouts and nutrition are on point, if you are constantly stressed, this is not going to be a good place for you to stay in. So what are my top tips, right? I gave you the tips before, right? Strength training, protein, blah, blah, blah. Okay. How about this? Lift at least 2 to 4 times a week, focusing on those compound lifts. Broads app has you covered. We've got it programmed for you. You can do home or gym. There's so many alternatives. Get 20 to 30 grams of protein at every meal. Go to bed and wake up at consistent times. Yes, I mean, even on the weekends. Every weekend I wake up between 5:30 and 6. Teddy thinks I'm crazy. I say, why am I sleeping in? This is a normal day for me. I'm telling you, it helps so much. Actually, I'd love to have a sleep expert on the pod. So if you want to send me any recommendations for that, I'd love to have a sleep expert. But from what I've read, consistent sleep overall is key. Practice your daily wind down habit when it comes to sleeping and just routine at all. Breath work, walks, stretching, journaling, whatever works best for you. And finally, let's talk about abs, because I think that everyone wants to have this flat abs stomach. And I want to just say, first and foremost, this is a very low body fat percentage, and this is highly genetics. Okay. So just going to say that up front. And also, totally depends on your cycle. Man, when I am at one point in my cycle, I'm like, damn, she's looking lean. And then I'm like, wow, who is she? There can be so many things that come into play when it comes to abs. Anyways, crunches do not give you abs, period. Spot reduction doesn't exist. So anytime you see anywhere online that says, you know, this will, I'm like trying to think, it's been a while, bra fat, bulge line, inner thighs, lower belly fat, this one exercise, these 3 exercises, no, you can't do that. Studies consistently show that you cannot burn fat by a specific area by training it more. Fat loss is systemic. So when I talk about abs too, I want to let you know that everyone has abs. Some just have more fat on them than others. But for abs need to be visible, body fat does need to be super low, which is, again, a mix of that genetics, diet, and just overall body composition. Overall. And then crunches mostly hit surface muscles. For a flatter look, stronger core, you need to train those deep muscles, transverse abdomen, transverse abs, obliques, pelvic floor. A lot of compound lifts already do this. I personally don't do a ton of core work, actually, if ever. But because I lift heavy in goblet squats and deadlifts and bench press and pulling, that is going to work my core a ton. So what does work when it comes to abs? Compound lifts, heavy weights, right? Stability exercise, anything like a plank, a dead bug, love a dead bug, love a bird dog, a Pallof press, a rotational, a windmill, Turkish get up, overhead carries. There's so many really great unconventional core exercises too. A high fiber diet, anti-inflammatory with sufficient protein, and of course, stress management, sleep, hydration, and just recovery overall. So this is from science. Your ideal visible ab range for men, body fats. This is just from some studies that we were looking at. 10 to 12% on a man and 18 to 22% as a woman is where you can see visible ab range, which is kind of crazy because I've seen men and women outside of these scales also have and have not ab, like do and do not have abs. I've seen women low body fat that don't have any. So genetics is such a huge play in this too. Too long, didn't listen. If you want a flatter stomach, stop crunching and start lifting, fueling, and recovering. Your abs did not come from the mat. They come from your habits and daily habits. It's just like the money that we put into our bank account or put into our piggy bank when we're younger. It's just like getting these deposits every single day or every single week. It's these habits that add up. And people think that it is doing the crunches and doing the workouts. And man, if you can manage your sleep and recovery and stress and hydration and step count, I promise you, you will get so much further than doing any 10-minute ab workout ever. So finally, your body does not need a seasonal deadline. It needs long-term healthy habits. Please, I beg of you, at least step back when you are going into these 30-day or fast challenges that will help you lose a certain thing. Is see if it's actually going to benefit you or if it's actually going to hurt you in the long term. Please just try not to earn your summer. Train because movement is your anchor, strength is your freedom, and consistency is your power. So pick one thing out of the many things that I gave you that you're going to do for the next 3 months, for the remainder of the summer. The remainder hasn't started yet. So before the summer starts, that you want to live in and not just look at. So again, those could be train 3 times a week, no matter what, even if it's not your full workout, even if it's not what you thought it was going to be, even if you don't have the time, find a little block, or meal prep every Sunday, or journal 5 minutes a night, or hit X amount of steps a day. Pick one, write it down, put it on a sticky note, put it on your computer, put it on your phone, the background of your phone, put it on your fridge, put it everywhere, and do not miss it. Thank you for listening. I think you're awesome just the way you are. And I just think that some healthy habits will help you stick with this way longer than just a 30-day quick summer body fix, because you don't need a fix. You are beautiful and perfect just the way you are, really. Love you so much. Please, if you liked this, review, leave a comment, a really great, funny comment. The funny comments always make my day. Share this with a friend, with your family member, or with any woman in your life that you feel like maybe needs to hear this today. Mwah.